The first camera flash exploded in Mirabel's face before the car door even closed. She flinched back instinctively, hand flying up to shield her eyes as voices crashed over her in a wave. "Over here. Is it true you're his mistress?" "Ma'am, are you under investigation in Nigeria?" "Look up! Just one shot!" A microphone nearly smacked her cheek. Jisu's hand closed around her wrist, firm and steady, pulling her closer to his side as he stepped out of the car fully. "Back up," he said, voice low but edged with steel. "This is private property." Security tried to push a path through, but there were too many cameras, too many phones, too many hungry eyes. Someone shoved a screen in Mirabel's direction. "Is this real?" the reporter shouted. "Do you have a response?" She didn't want to look. She looked anyway. Her own face stared back at her from a breaking news banner. Not from Singapore. From Lagos. Nigerian activist under fraud investigation. Alleged misuse of donor funds. Mirabel's breath locked in her chest. "What?" Jisu saw it, too. His grip on her tightened. "That's fabricated." "They made it official," the reporter yelled. "Sources say there's a warrant being prepared." Mirabel's stomach dropped. "A warrant?" she whispered. "Come on," Jisu murmured in her ear. "Don't answer. Not out here." A hand grabbed at her elbow. "Miss, just one comment. Do you admit any wrongdoing?" Mirabel shook the hand off, anger flashing through the fear. "I've never stolen a naira from anyone," she said sharply. "Your sources are lying." The cameras loved that. The shouting doubled. "Did you sleep with him for funding? Is your sister part of this?" That one hit her like a slap. Security finally forced a gap wide enough. Jisu slipped his arm around her shoulders. Not for show, for control, to physically move her through the mob without being dragged back. "Don't engage," he murmured. "They're recording everything." "They mentioned my sister," she said through her teeth. "They shouldn't even know she exists." "I know." His voice darkened. "Which means someone fed them." They broke through the doors at last. The glass slid shut behind them, cutting off the worst of the noise, but the echo of it still rang in her bones. Silence hit the marble lobby like a different kind of tension. Mirabel pulled away slightly, chest heaving. "They said, fraud investigation. That's not just a rumor, Jisu. Someone back home signed a paper." "We'll confirm with your legal contact in Lagos," he said. "Right after this." "This?" she repeated, almost laughing. "You mean the part where your board tries to hang both of us in one sitting?" He almost smiled, but there was no humor in it. "That part, yes." They headed toward the private elevator. The receptionist at the front desk watched them with nervous eyes, then looked down at her screen, fingers flying over the keys. Mirabel whispered, "What if they arrest me when I land in Nigeria again?" He didn't sugarcoat it. "Then we make sure the world knows exactly who engineered the charges and why. They want you to be afraid of that headline. Let's make them afraid of the truth behind it." Her phone buzzed in her hand. She didn't look. Not yet. They reached the security turnstiles. Jisu scanned his badge. Nothing happened. He frowned, tried again. The light stayed red. The guard on duty shifted uneasily. "Sir, there's a note on your profile." He swallowed. "I'm required to ask you to step aside." Mirabel's stomach clenched. "You're kidding." Jisu's jaw tightened. "Try again." The guard did. Read. Denied. "Sir, I'm so sorry," the guard said quietly. "Your access was suspended 10 minutes ago. System-wide." 10 minutes, right around the time the swarm hit them outside. Mirabel stared. They locked you out of your own building? Temporarily restricted, the guard added quickly, as if that made it better. I've been instructed to escort you to Conference Wing B directly. Conference Wing B, Jisoo repeated, eyes narrowing. That's not the main boardroom. No, sir, it's the legal briefing room. Mirabel's skin prickled. Legal? The guard looked like he wanted to disappear. I just follow instructions, ma'am. Jisoo glanced at her, something sharp moving behind his gaze. They're trying to isolate us before the full meeting, he said quietly. Control the story, then bring us in as the villains. Mirabel's phone buzzed again. She finally looked. A new message, unknown number. She opened it. Enjoy the cameras? Consider them rehearsal. The real trial starts upstairs. Her chest turned to ice. She showed it to Jisoo without a word. His eyes flicked over the text. A muscle worked in his jaw. They're confident. Or desperate, she said. Both, he answered. The guard gestured toward the side corridor. This way, please. They followed, walking past glass walls and quiet offices, past people who quickly looked away, pretending not to stare. Mirabel felt their eyes anyway. The activist and the CEO. The scandal and the target. Her phone buzzed again. Another message. She didn't want to see it. She saw it anyway. This time it was a photo. Not of her. Not of her sister. It was a screenshot of a document. Fuzzy, but clear enough. Nigeria Economic and Financial Crimes Commission Notice of Investigation. The Rise Initiative. At the bottom, a forged-looking signature of an officer she vaguely knew by name. Her throat closed. They're using my charity. Jisoo tilted the phone closer, eyes scanning fast. Look at the date. She did. Today. What does that mean? She whispered. It means they're accelerating everything, he said. No more slow burn. They want this day to break you. She swallowed hard. Then I don't break. He looked at her. Really looked. And something softened in the middle of all the hardness. That's why they're afraid of you. They reached the elevator for Conference Wing B. The guard scanned his own access card, then stepped back. Top floor, he said. They're waiting. Jisoo held the doors open for her. Mirabel hesitated, fingers tightening around her phone. Once we go in there, she said quietly, we can't take anything back. Not words, not choices. I know, he replied. If we choose wrong, he cut in gently. I'm more afraid of doing nothing than choosing wrong. She let out a slow breath. Then we go. She stepped inside. He followed. The doors slid shut with a soft, metallic sigh. For a few seconds, the only sounds were the hum of the elevator and their breathing. Mirabel glanced at his reflection in the steel door. Do you regret bringing me into this? He didn't hesitate. No. Even after the headlines, the fake audio, my ex, my cousin, my sister's room being watched like a movie? His voice dropped. The headlines don't make me regret you. They make me angry at the people trying to break you. Her eyes stung. What if they succeed? He turned slightly, enough to face her fully in the tight space. Then I failed. Not you. Her chest tightened. I don't want you to lose everything because of me. He held her gaze. I'm not losing everything. I'm choosing what matters. The elevator slowed. Her heart picked up. He leaned in, voice barely above a whisper. When those doors open, they'll try to make you feel small. Don't give them the satisfaction. She nodded, forcing her spine straight. And you? His mouth curved, but not in a smile. I'm done being polite. The elevator dinged. The doors slid open, and instead of a quiet, legal briefing room, They stepped into a wall of sound and light. Cameras, microphones, unfamiliar faces, flashes popping like fireworks. Not just the board, the press. International and local media crammed into the space, live stream banners floating on tablet screens. At the front of the room, calm and perfectly composed, stood Han Tai-shik, Jisoo's uncle, the man who wanted him erased. He faced the cameras, voice silk smooth as it carried across the room. And as acting interim chairman, Han Tai-shik was saying, I take no pleasure in addressing the serious allegations against our CEO and his associate, but Kangtech will always choose ethics over sentiment. Then he turned, saw them, and smiled like he'd been waiting his whole life for this moment. The room snapped to silence the moment Han Tai-shik smiled at them. Mirabel didn't move. Not because she froze, but because she knew every camera in that room had just swung toward her like hungry animals catching the scent of blood. Jisoo stepped half a pace in front of her, instinctive, protective, but Tai-shik lifted a hand casually. No need to hide, he said, voice smooth, calculated. We want the world to see both of you. Mirabel swallowed. The world. Cameras. Headlines. This was exactly what they feared, and exactly what someone had orchestrated. Jisoo's tone turned sharp. You had no authority to call the press. Tai-shik clasped his hands behind his back like a man giving a lecture. On the contrary, with your access suspended pending investigation, the board requested transparency. Investigation? Mirabel echoed under her breath. Tai-shik heard her. Oh, he definitely heard. He shifted his gaze to her. Slow, deliberate, condescending. My dear, your legal issues in Nigeria are trending globally. The company cannot appear complicit. We must protect ourselves. Mirabel felt her pulse rise. Legal issues that your partners created. A ripple went through the crowd. Some cameras zoomed tighter. Tai-shik didn't even blink. Your accusations are misplaced. The EFCC does not fabricate cases. Jisoo stepped forward. They do when the wrong men shake their hand. A few reporters started typing so fast their nails clicked against their screens. Tai-shik's smile tightened. Nephew, attacking international agencies publicly is beneath the dignity of your position. You suspended me, Jisoo shot back. I don't currently have a position. The room gasped. A reporter shouted, Mr. Kang, are you confirming that you've been removed as CEO? Before Jisoo could answer, Tai-shik lifted a finger, one small gesture, and security guards moved. Mirabel's breath caught. Two men approached them from the side, not aggressive, but firm. Sir, one of them said, we need you to step into a private room for questioning. Mirabel instantly grabbed Jisoo's arm. No, they're isolating you. Tai-shik spoke again, his tone dripping with false pity. We only want clarity, nephew. You've brought an activist under international fraud investigation into this building. You've compromised our stock value. We must assess your judgment. Mirabel's jaw clenched. This is a setup. And yet, Tai-shik said softly, appearances matter more than truth. Jisoo stepped slightly in front of her again. We're not leaving this room. Reporters murmured wildly. Are you refusing to cooperate, Mr. Kang? Is this an admission of guilt? Is she influencing your decisions? The last question hit Mirabel like a punch. Jisoo turned towards the crowd. No one here dictates my decisions but me. Tai-shik smirked. But that is exactly the concern, isn't it? Decisions influenced by emotion. Mirabel felt heat rise to her face. Not embarrassment, fury. "You're accusing him of corruption based on a fake video you ordered," she said loudly. The entire room erupted. Camera flashes burst like lightning. Someone shouted, "Ma'am, are you making a direct allegation?" "Yes," Mirabel said, voice steady. "Because I saw the footage. 2 of your board members discussing how to destroy him using my name." Tae-shik tisked like she was a child. "An activist claiming to have seen footage? Convenient. Do you have it with you?" Mirabel's heart lurched. Jisoo turned toward her instantly. "Don't," he whispered. But it was too late. She realized what had just happened. They had maneuvered her into a corner. If she said yes, they'd accuse her of tampering, fabricating, hacking. If she said no, they'd call her a liar on live television. Tae-shik leaned forward slightly. "Well, do you have this so-called proof?" Mirabel opened her mouth, then closed it. A trap. A perfect trap. Her silence told the room everything they wanted. Cameras flashed so rapidly her eyes burned. "There it is," Tae-shik said softly. "Emotion. Hysteria. No evidence." Jisoo stepped forward, fury blazing under his calm. "You will not speak to her like that." Tae-shik didn't flinch. "Remove him." Security moved again. This time they reached for Jisoo's arm. Mirabel reacted before she could think. "Don't touch him." Her voice sliced through the chaos. But she wasn't loud for drama. She was loud because something in her snapped. A reporter raised a camera. "Ma'am, are you 2 in a relationship?" Mirabel froze. Jisoo stiffened. Tae-shik's smile widened. "Ah, the real question?" More voices piled on. "Is this a scandal or romance? Are you protecting him? Is he protecting you? Or are you both hiding something?" Mirabel's vision blurred, not with tears, but with humiliation, fear, and something darker, rage that felt like it lived inside her bones. She opened her mouth to speak, but her phone vibrated again. Not now. She ignored it. Then it buzzed a second time. She swallowed. Then a third. Her blood turned cold. She looked down. A message preview lit the screen. "Turn around." Her heart stopped. She slowly raised her head. Tae-shik was still smiling. Reporters were still shouting. Security was still edging closer. But further back, near the glass wall, someone stood completely still. A man in a charcoal hoodie, face shadowed, head lowered, but holding something small, a phone, pointed at her. Mirabel's grip tightened around her own phone. Her breath went thin. Jisoo noticed instantly. "What is it? Mirabel?" She didn't answer. The man in the hoodie lifted his phone slightly, angling it toward her. Another message appeared on her screen. "Smile for the live stream." Mirabel's chest seized. "Jisoo, someone here is filming." "Me!" He turned sharply. "Where?" She nodded toward the back. Reporters moved in the way, but the hooded man didn't move. Didn't blink. Tae-shik followed their gaze, and for the first time, his expression cracked. Only for a second, but Mirabel saw it. He knows who that is. Jisoo started forward, anger erupting. "Hey, you!" Security rushed to block him, but the hooded man stepped back, slipping behind a divider, disappearing as if he were never there at all. Mirabel's phone buzzed again. "You're late. Check your email." Her stomach twisted. "Jisoo, they sent something else." "What now?" he said through clenched teeth. She opened her inbox. A single new file loaded. The title made her knees weaken. The full audio, unedited version. Her vision tunneled. They had escalated again, another cliffhanger dropping right at the heart of the chaos. Tae-shik watched her pale, and his voice softened with mock concern. "Careful, dear. You look like you're about to faint." Mirabel raised her head slowly, and for the first time that morning, she wasn't afraid. She met Taishik's gaze like someone who had nothing left to lose. "I'm fine," she said quietly. "But you should be worried." The lights flickered. Not a soft flutter. A violent stutter that sucked the color out of the room for a split second. Alarms didn't blare. People didn't scream. But every screen in the hallway outside the glass walls flashed the same chilling message. "Security Protocol Omega! All personnel remain in place!" Mirabel froze mid-step. Jisoo stiffened instantly, shoulders locking like a man hearing footsteps behind him in a dark alley. The board members inside erupted into panicked murmurs. "What's happening? Who authorized Omega? This protocol hasn't been used since—" A security officer sprinted down the hall, radio pinned to his ear. He didn't slow as he passed Jisoo and Mirabel, but his voice, loud, clipped, terrified, echoed. "Threat confirmed inside the building. Repeat, threat inside the building." Mirabel's blood turned to ice. "Jisoo!" He grabbed her hand, pulling her close. "Stay behind me." A second officer appeared from the elevator area, breathless. "Sir, your presence is required in the operations room immediately, alone." "No." Mirabel gripped his sleeve. "He's not going anywhere alone." The officer swallowed hard. "Ma'am, I'm sorry, but this isn't a negotiation. The threat is tied directly to Mr. Kang." Every board member heard it. They stared, wide-eyed, whispering, horrified. A few of them looked at Mirabel, with new understanding. Jisoo turned to her. "I'll be fine." "You won't," she shot back, voice trembling. "Every time you go somewhere alone, something happens." "No." She wasn't crying, but her voice had the thin, breaking edge of someone who'd hit their limit hours ago, and was only standing because fear held her up. He cupped her cheek briefly, thumb brushing her skin. "Mirabel, I need to contain this before it hits your family again." She swallowed hard. "Then I'm coming with—" "You can't," the officer cut in. "The threat may target her too." Jisoo's jaw tightened. "Nobody touches her." As they argued, a man down the hall shouted, "Everyone step back from the windows." Mirabel's heart dropped. "Jisoo, what is happening?" "Someone got inside," he whispered. "Someone who shouldn't." Before he could say more, the elevator at the end of the hallway dinged. A soft, innocent sound. But not a single person breathed. Mirabel's nails dug into Jisoo's arm. The elevator doors slid open. A tall figure stepped out, face covered by a black cap pulled low, hands tucked inside a gray hoodie. Calm. Too calm. Security shouted, "Sir, stop right there!" But the man didn't stop. He lifted his head slightly, just enough that Jisoo could see the sharp line of his jaw, the faint scar on his cheek. And Jisoo whispered, under his breath, "No." Mirabel looked at him. "What? Who is that?" He didn't answer. He couldn't answer, because the figure walking toward them wasn't a stranger. It was a ghost no one else recognized, a ghost only Jisoo could see coming for him. The man smiled, slow, chilling. "You finally forced my hand, nephew." Mirabel gasped. Jisoo went cold, every nerve in his body lit on fire. Security stepped forward, guns drawn now, but the man lifted both hands, palms empty. "Relax," he said lightly. "I'm unarmed. I came for a conversation." Jisoo stepped in front of Mirabel. "Kim Do-hwan, you're banned from entering any Kangtech property." Do-hwan shrugged. "And yet, here we are." The board members inside the conference room gasped audibly. People rushed to their feet. Phones came out. Lawyers fumbled for their briefcases. Because Kim Do-hwan wasn't just a disgruntled uncle. He was a corporate predator with enough enemies to fill a building, and enough allies to burn one down. Du Huan looked directly at Mirabel. "Ah," he said with a slow, amused breath. "So this is the girl destroying my empire." Mirabel flinched at the venom in his voice, but she didn't step back. Jisoo did. For her. "Say her name again," Jisoo said, voice low, "and you won't leave this building standing." Do Hwan smiled. "You went soft, Jisoo. I told your father this would happen." Security tried to approach again, but Do Hwan slipped a phone from his pocket. Everyone froze. Not because he pulled out a weapon, because on the phone screen was a live feed. A room. A hospital hallway. Mirabel's breath stopped. No, not a hospital. A clinic she recognized instantly. Her sister's school nurse's office. Her sister walked past the camera, laughing with a friend, alive, unharmed, but very, very reachable. Mirabel choked out, "What are you doing? What do you want from her?" Do Hwan looked at Jisoo, not Mirabel. "What I've always wanted," he said. "Kangtek, and the position your father never had the guts to give me." "And threatening a teenage girl gets you that how?" Mirabel snapped through trembling breaths. Du Hwan finally looked at her. His eyes were flat, unbothered. "Because her pain makes you obedient, and your obedience makes Jisoo predictable." Mirabel felt her knees weaken. Jisoo's voice dropped to a lethal whisper. "You're done." Do Hwan tilted his head. "Am I?" He tapped his phone. A second live window opened. This one, showing Kangtek's server room, wires, equipment, a timer blinking red. Mirabel's lungs locked. "A bomb?" someone screamed from inside the boardroom. Do Hwan smiled. "Not a bomb. Something cleaner." Jisoo's heart stopped. "You wouldn't dare." "Oh, but I would," Do Hwan said smoothly. "A virus, one that wipes every internal audit trail, every shell company link, every illegal payment I ever made. If the timer hits 0, everything vanishes. My sins go with it." Mirabel whispered, "You want to erase the evidence." "And my dear nephew's credibility," Do Hwan finished. Security lunged toward him, but Do Hwan held up a small silver trigger. "Move, and the wipe begins." Jisoo's entire world tilted. Mirabel grabbed his arm. "We have to stop him." His voice broke. "Mirabel, if that virus wipes the servers, I lose everything. The evidence, the leverage, the protection. And your life," she whispered. "You said it." The timer on the server room feed blinked. 0.02:59. Du Hwan smiled wider. "Well, nephew, shall we negotiate?" Jisoo exhaled once, shaking, furious, terrified. Mirabel whispered, "We're running out of time." The timer blinked again. 0.02:42. Jisoo looked at her, only at her. "I'm not letting him win," he said, and Mirabel whispered, "Then neither am I." Jisoo's hand tightened around Mirabel's, just for a heartbeat, a silent promise, a vow sharpened by fear. Then he stepped forward, facing his uncle directly. "Shut it down," Jisoo said, voice low but steady. "End the feed. Remove the threat from her sister. Now." Do Hwan smirked. "You always were dramatic, but this isn't about threats, Jisoo. It's about choices." Behind them, the boardroom erupted into panicked chatter. Phones rang. Lawyers shouted. Someone cried. The entire floor spiraled into chaos, but inside the narrow corridor between Jisoo and his uncle, everything felt deadly still. "Choice number 1, Do Hwan said, lifting the little trigger like it weighed nothing. "You resign. Effective immediately. Walk away from the company with your activist girlfriend, and I let both of you leave alive." Mirabel inhaled sharply. Jisoo didn't blink. "Choice number 2, Do Hwan continued. You refuse. and every piece of evidence against me disappears with that virus. And then? He shrugged casually. Then we escalate. Your stocks crash. Your board turns. Your reputation burns. And I go back to walking the halls of your father's legacy like I own it. The timer on the feed blinked again. 000211. Mirabel's heart slammed painfully against her ribs. He's stalling, she whispered. He wants you to panic. I'm not panicking, Jisoo said, but his jaw was tight enough to crack bone. Choice number 3, Do Hwan said, lowering his voice into something darker. You attack me. You try to stop me. And the moment you take one step too close. He wiggled the device. It wipes every file anyway. Mirabel stepped forward, fury replacing fear. Why her? She snapped. Why involve my sister? She's a child. Do Hwan didn't even look ashamed. Because hurting you hurts him. And hurting him is the point. Mirabel shook. You monster. Oh, come now, he sighed. Don't act shocked. Your little reports in Nigeria did worse to powerful men. Why cry now that the knife is in your own home? Mirabel froze. How do you know about that? She whispered. Do Hwan's smile didn't move, but his eyes gleamed. Oh, sweetheart, you think this is only about Jisoo? You've embarrassed men 10 times worse than him. Men with reach, men with money, men who owe me favors. A sickening breath left her lungs. You partnered with them, Mirabel whispered. That politician, the one we exposed, he helped you. Do Hwan winked. Smart girl. Jisoo stepped in front of her again. You're done talking to her. No, Mirabel said, stepping right back beside him. I want him to talk. Every word he says reveals something. Do Hwan gave her a slow, mocking bow. Then let me reveal this. The feed shifted suddenly. A second camera angle popped up. Her sister's bedroom again. But this time, a shadow crossed the bed. Mirabel's entire body seized. No, 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 no. Someone's in the room. Someone's... Do Hwan clicked his tongue. Relax. She's not hurt. Yet. Jisoo exploded. You touched her family? Touched? Do Hwan tilted his head. No, but the man I hired, my consultant, your politician friend, he has an interest in keeping the girl unharmed. For now. Mirabel's stomach twisted violently. For now? Oh, please, Do Hwan said. If I wanted her dead, you'd have gotten a very different message. Enough, Jisoo growled. You're not getting the company. And you, Do Hwan said, aren't getting to play the hero. The timer blinked. 000139. Mirabel's breath hitched. Jisoo, we need a plan. I have one, he whispered. But you have to trust me. I do, she said instantly. Completely. Completely. He exhaled once. Just once. Like he was letting go of something heavy. Then he whispered, When I move, you run. Mirabel stiffened. No. Don't argue. But you run to the operations room. You shut down the network manually. There's an override switch. They don't know I changed its location. Mirabel felt the blood drain from her face. You want me to stop the wipe? Yes. Jisoo, security won't let me through. I'll override them remotely. You just have to move. You're the only one he won't expect. The timer flashed. 0.020. Mirabel stared at him, terrified. And what about you? Jisoo's eyes darkened with something she'd never seen before. Resigned, fierce, full of an emotion he still hadn't said out loud. I'll distract him. No, she whispered. He'll kill you. Mirabel? You can't. 0109. Do Hwan tapped the device impatiently. Time's ticking, nephew. Mirabel's pulse roared in her ears. Jisoo leaned closer, a breath away. Trust me. Don't you dare die, she whispered. He almost smiled. I'm not planning to. And then he moved. Fast. Faster than she'd ever seen him move, charging toward his uncle as if recklessness were the only path left. Security screamed, "Sir, no!" Do Juan flinched, just enough to loosen his grip on the trigger, and Mirabel ran, not away from Jisoo, but toward the hallway behind them, toward the servers, toward the operations room. Alarms blared, guards shouted after her, her lungs burned, her legs shook, but she didn't stop. Because seconds behind her, Jisoo slammed into his uncle, knocking the trigger from his hand as they crashed into the wall with a force that rattled the entire floor. Do Juan shouted, "Grab her! She's heading to the override!" Mirabel sprinted harder. Security guards lunged. One reached for her arm. She ducked under him, sliding across the polished floor, scraping her palms but never stopping. Pain didn't matter. Breath didn't matter. Only one thing mattered. The timer. She shouted into the phone, still clenched in her hand. "Jisoo, I'm almost there." His voice, strained, breathless, came through the line. "Hurry, Mirabel, hurry!" 0047. She slammed into the double doors of the operations room. Locked. No. Use the emergency. Release. Jisoo grunted through the phone. Top left panel. She clawed it open, hit the switch. The doors burst open, and the room glowed with red emergency lights, alarms blaring like screams. She ran to the main console. The timer blinked on every screen in front of her. Sojiro 32. Jisoo's voice broke through the chaos. "Mirabel, listen to me! Bottom panel, green switch, turn it counterclockwise." She reached under the console, found the switch, twisted. It didn't move. "It's stuck!" she cried. "Force it!" "I'm trying." Sojiro 21. Her hands trembled violently. She gripped the switch with both shaking hands. "Mirabel!" She pulled, twisted, screamed. It snapped free, and the entire room froze. The timer halted at 0014, silence. Then the screens slowly shifted to a single message. Override successful. Virus contained. Mirabel collapsed to her knees, sobbing in relief. But the relief lasted only a second, because down the hall, through the phone still pressed to her ear, she heard Jisoo gasp, followed by a thud, followed by her uncle's cold voice whispering, "Now you've made me angry, girl." Mirabel's heart stopped. "Jisoo?" she whispered into the phone. No answer, only the ragged sound of breathing. Then the scrape of a shoe against the floor. "Jisoo!" she cried louder, panic slicing through her chest. "Talk to me, please!" A low chuckle answered her. Her uncle. "You think you've won something?" he hissed. "You think saving a few files matters?" Her blood iced. "What did you do to him?" she demanded, voice shaking. "Nothing permanent," he said. "Yet." Mirabel's own voice rose before she could stop it. "If you touch him again—" "You'll what?" he mocked. "Cry harder? Run faster? Do you really think you're in control here?" She heard Jisoo groan faintly in the background. Her eyes filled instantly. Jisoo, please, say something." A hoarse whisper came through the speakers. "Mirabel, don't. Come here." Her entire chest cracked. "I'm not leaving you." "No," he rasped, barely audible. "He wants that. Don't come. Don't." The line suddenly cut. Silence. Mirabel stumbled to her feet so fast she nearly slipped. Her breaths came harsh and uneven, her vision blurring with tears and fury. She wiped her face with the back of her hand. "No," she whispered. "You don't get to take him." Her legs moved before her mind caught up. She tore out of the operations room, sprinting down the hallway, ignoring every alarm, every voice, every flashing red light. Security guards yelled behind her, but she didn't look back. She followed the sound of chaos. The echo of shouts, the struggle, the fight she couldn't see. Please, she begged under her breath. Please be alive. Please. She turned to the corner and froze. Her uncle stood over Jisoo, gripping the younger man's collar as he dragged him upright and slammed him back into the wall. Jisoo's lip was bleeding, his jaw swelling, but he was still conscious, still fighting, teeth clenched as he tried to break free. Mirabel's voice burst out of her, raw and desperate. Let go of him! Both men whipped their heads toward her. Her uncle's lip curled. Ah, the heroine arrives. Jisoo's eyes widened. Mirabel, no, run! But she didn't. She walked straight toward them, trembling but fearless. Her uncle shoved Jisoo harder into the wall, gripping the back of his neck like a handle. Look what you've done, girl. You ruined months of planning. You think I'll let that go? Mirabel stepped closer. He has nothing to do with what I exposed. You're punishing him for refusing to be corrupt. Punish me instead. Mirabel! Jisoo shouted, panic in his voice. Don't! Her uncle laughed. Punish you? Oh, sweetheart, hurting you is the whole point. Mirabel's stomach twisted. She forced herself not to step back. Then why go after him? Because, her uncle growled, his grip tightening on Jisoo, you care about him, and taking what someone loves is the sharpest knife. Her pulse hammered. He knew exactly where to cut her deepest. She lifted her chin. Let him go. I'm the one you want. Maybe, he said, but he's the one who still thinks he can win. Get your hands off him, she snapped, or I swear I will. You'll what? He taunted. Expose me? Try. Nigeria won't listen. Korea won't listen. Men like me don't disappear. We multiply. No, she said quietly. Men like you eventually fall, and if I don't bury you tonight, life will. He stepped toward her, letting go of Jisoo just long enough for the CEO to stagger but keep his footing. You think you're untouchable because you can speak fancy English? Because you make documentaries? Because you cry for strangers? He sneered. You are nothing. A poor girl who learned how to shout. Mirabel's eyes burned, but not with fear, with rage. She stepped directly in front of him, only inches between them. You're right. I did learn how to shout. And I learned something else too. Oh? He mocked. That men like you only win when we stay silent. Her uncle's hand shot out so fast she didn't see it coming. His fingers closed around her arm, gripping hard. Jisoo surged forward, but her uncle yanked her closer like a shield. You take one more step, he snarled at Jisoo, and I'll... Sir, freeze! 3 security guards stormed into the hallway with weapons. Drawn, not guns, but high-voltage tactical batons crackling with light. Mirabel's uncle stiffened. Step away from the CEO, the guard barked. Now! Her uncle's expression twisted. You think I'm scared of... He didn't finish, because Jisoo, bleeding, shaking, furious, used that 1 second of distraction to grab her uncle's wrist and twist it sharply behind his back. The older man cried out, releasing Mirabel. She stumbled back, right into the arms of a guard who steadied her. Another guard stepped in immediately, cuffing her uncle's hands behind him. Her uncle roared, You don't know who I am. This building belongs to me. No, Jisoo said quietly, breathing hard. It belongs to integrity, something you've never had. Her uncle struggled as the guards pulled him away. This isn't over. You think a little slap on the wrist changes anything? I have files, evidence, leverage. You can't jail me without burning your own house down. Jisoo stared at him, eyes cold. I don't need to jail you. His uncle froze. I only need to expose you, Jisoo said, and I've been preparing for that for a very long time. The older man's face twisted in terror and fury all at once. The guards dragged him out, his threats echoing down the hallway until the doors finally closed behind him. Silence returned. The alarms shut off. The emergency lights faded. The building exhaled. Mirabel's legs buckled, but Jisoo caught her. She pressed her forehead to his chest, sobbing quietly. I thought he... He wrapped both arms around her, pulling her close. I'm here, he whispered. I'm right here. She clutched his shirt, trembling. Is he going to come back? No, Jisoo murmured. Not after what they've caught him with. The police are waiting downstairs. Financial crimes, digital extortion, international harassment, everything. Mirabel closed her eyes in relief, tears dripping down her cheeks. My sister? Already protected, he said softly. My team reached her house minutes ago. They sent me a message while you were running. She's safe. Mirabel broke. She cried into his chest, exhausted, relieved, overwhelmed. Jisoo held her like she was the only thing anchoring him too. It's over, he whispered. Really over. But Mirabel shook her head. No. Something tells me this wasn't just him. Jisoo's arms tightened. I know. We still don't know who was physically in her room. I know. And the politician? He's still out there. I know. She pulled back slightly, meeting his gaze, eyes refocusing, strength returning. Then this isn't the end, she whispered. This is the beginning of the real fight. Jisoo nodded slowly, the same realization settling behind his eyes. Then we fight, he said softly. Together. Mirabel exhaled shakily, leaning her forehead against his. And in that quiet, fragile moment, the weight of everything they had survived pressed in, but so did something else. Something fierce, something undeniable. Something that felt like the start of a war and a love story unfolding side by side. Come with me, Jisoo murmured. Where? She asked. To tell the world the truth. And as they walked down the ruined hallway, side by side, bruised but unbroken, the city outside flickered awake. A new war was coming, and neither of them planned to lose. Please like, subscribe, and comment your thoughts below. It's your little way of supporting us. Thank you as you do so.